Hello, my name is Shelley Spaner. I'm a radiologist with Mayfair Diagnostics, a partner in that group, and a board member at the Prostate Cancer Centre. I'm really lucky to be here today to talk to you about men's health and how we see men's health is going to evolve as the years go by in Calgary. Why are we doing this? Well, there's a discrepancy in life expectancy between men and women. Currently, men on average live 3.5 to 4 years less than women do. This is projected to occur even out to 2030 when we look at the research being done currently in Canada and in the rest of the world. If we look specifically at Alberta, we'll see that men lead women in 12 of the top 13 causes of death. This includes all cancers, cardiovascular disease, stroke, accidental and non-accidental trauma. Interestingly, women tend to die more frequently than men from the ravages of Alzheimer's disease or dementia. And the theory behind this is that men simply don't live long enough to die as frequently from this disease process. When we look at mental health, the statistics are sadly even grimmer. Although men and women suffer from the ravages of mental health issues at similar rates, men tend to underreport, they tend not to talk about their struggles, and they tend to suffer more dire consequences. In fact, 80% of people who die from suicide in Alberta are men. So that's 4 out of 5 men. And these are usually men in the prime of their lives, between age 40 and age 60. These are the ones that are dying most frequently. Interestingly, men suffer from postpartum depression, but they don't tend to report it. Up to 10% of men suffer from this disease process. The economic burden of mental health is growing. It currently is now estimated at about $51 billion in Canada, and with the ravages of the pandemic and things that have been going on over the last year, this is going to increase. Sometimes it's easier to understand the struggles that people go through when you listen to someone's story. Hrudey is a very well-known Calgarian who, as many of you know, was an NHL hockey player, a goaltender with the Los Angeles Kings, and also is a broadcaster for CBC's Hockey Night in Canada. He's opened up to us and talked about the struggles that he went through when he was a player. He struggled at a time when not very many people talked about their issues or their mental health struggles, and his story is very, very interesting.
I'm the starting goaltender on the most popular team in the world. I thought of myself when I was playing well as a general out there. It didn't matter who I was playing against, I was in control. I started having all these thoughts. Maybe this is it. Maybe I can't do this anymore. Maybe I can't stay at that same level. But I wasn't going to tell my guys how weak I was.
When you look at mental health, men struggle a lot, and men are struggling with all types of mental health issues, from anxiety to depression, and these are all underreported and very common in men, but very, very uncommonly talked about.
I remember Barry Melrose said after one game we lost at home, and he's talking about our team and he goes, and even Kelly can play better. And instantaneously, in my head, I went, no, I don't think I can. I think I've reached my peak. And then I went in a ditch in a hurry. Definitely very lonely. I didn't really worry much about my team or my teammates. They were going to figure it out. I was either going to figure it out myself and keep playing, but I was about my family. I'm the guy, right? Got to make the money, and you can't if you're broken.
Men are the strong ones. Men are the people that people lean on. They support their families. It's really hard to admit your insecurities or your issues when people are looking up to you.
Back in 92, 93, nobody's talking about it. No guys that I could ever think of in the sporting world would ever share anything like that. Just all in your own head, trying to figure it out. Nobody knew. Donna knew something was wrong. I mean, you had to. That was a tough place.
A lot of times people feel quite isolated, feel quite lonely, feel like they're the only ones, feel like they're alone, and don't know where to reach out to.
Luckily for me, talk about good employers, Barry Melrose recognized something was going on. I wasn't sugarcoating it. I was telling him that I thought I was done. You're supposed to be the starting goalie on a team in the National Hockey League that has Wayne Gretzky. You're supposed to be a good team, and the starting goalie doesn't think he can play. He doesn't think he can, he doesn't think he's going to play again. I'm laying it on the line. It would have gone only one of two ways. They were going to try and help me or quickly get rid of me. But they invested time.
I think in a team situation, instead of seeing it as a weakness, if you can see asking for help as a way to make the whole team stronger, sometimes it's a really positive step.
Over the course of a month, I dug myself out of a ditch and I was awfully proud of myself. I had gained so much strength in a year that I wasn't going to allow myself to even think of being in that low spot anymore. I was beyond that, and I'm not going back because I didn't like it.
In the end, I think it's what gives you strength is when you talk about your own insecurities, you become more human, and it's twofold. Like when you reach out and when you start talking, you realize that many people feel the same way as you, and the way that you think often is the same way that lots of other people think.
Because I'm somewhat of a public figure, every single place I go, every single day, people come up to me, whether it's in a local coffee shop, they share a story, they talk to me about it. I get a text message, I get an email, I get a phone call from people. So this conversation is happening every single day, and it's not just in the sports world, it's everywhere. Please don't suffer alone. Share your story with somebody, and somebody's going to listen.
Now I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Eric Hyndman, who's one of the urologists at the Southern Alberta Institute of Urology and one of my colleagues on the board at the Prostate Cancer Centre. Eric's going to spend a few minutes talking to you about where we've been and where we hope to go.
So I'll take a few minutes to talk about the Prostate Cancer Centre and the Southern Alberta Institute of Urology. The prostate cancer itself was founded in 1999. It's a non-profit, world-class medical center that is designed to improve the quality of care and education of patients with prostate cancer. It sees a huge number of patients each year, about 18,000, and this continues to increase over time. The Southern Alberta Institute of Urology is immediately adjacent to that, and they are linked together in proximity. It was first established in September of 2010, and it's where all the urologists in Calgary work and have their offices. Within the Prostate Cancer Centre, the Man Van program has been set up where these vans drive around Calgary and Southern Alberta and do a PSA test for individuals screening for prostate cancer. Within the Man Van, we're also looking at blood pressure, glucose, waist circumference, and more recently, mental health. It's essentially a preventative health program for men in Calgary and in Southern Alberta. The Prostate Cancer Centre itself runs a number of rapid access programs that are designed to facilitate rapid access of patients who are recently diagnosed with prostate cancer. We run information sessions, and then we also run a program where we follow patients with low-grade prostate cancer. I think more recently the role of the urologist has been evolving. As surgeons, we're traditionally tasked with removing cancer or operating on patients, and we haven't paid much attention to the men's mental health. I think we have to acknowledge that when you're diagnosed with cancer or being treated with cancer or having complications from the treatment, this is an incredibly stressful time, and mental health plays a big role, and it's very important to address that to provide whole care to the patients. And this is one of the goals of the programs that I'm talking to you here today. Our research programs at the Prostate Cancer and at the Southern Alberta Institute of Urology are very diverse. We run many clinical trials related to prostate cancer, some drug trials, and also basic science research. In addition to this, we want to evaluate how we can improve the care of mental health of the patients diagnosed with prostate cancer.
Thanks, Eric. That's amazing work that's been done, and we're lucky to be a part of it. When I joined the Prostate Cancer Centre board about 3 years ago, one of my goals was to find a way to get women involved in the care of the men that they care about. And so we created a group called Women for Men's Health. Over the past 3 years, we spent a lot of our time fundraising to help bring fundraising and creating awareness programs to help raise some awareness and some understanding of how men suffer with respect to women, how they're not equal in the amount of disease burden they have, both mentally and physically. Our goal, along with the Prostate Cancer Centre and the SAIU, is to find a way to treat the whole person, their mind, body, and spirit. We know currently that the Prostate Cancer Centre and the SAIU are exceptional in the care that they provide for patients with disease processes that reflect their bodies, but we haven't done a good enough job in preparing their mental capacities and their ability to rehabilitate themselves or prehabilitate themselves, and I'm going to explain what that means. We hope, with the support of the community, to create a true men's health center of excellence. This will build on what we've done already and will expand our programs to ensure that when a man gets diagnosed with a cancer or some life-altering disease, we not only just cut out their cancer or treat their disease, we ensure that all aspects of their body are cared for. So we look after their mental health, we prepare them well for their surgery or their treatment, and we look after them as they learn to live with the sequelae of what's happened to them. This is going to take a lot of integration and a lot of different moving parts. And what I mean by that is we're going to have to use the urologists at the Southern Alberta Institute of Urology, the research that's being done, the already exceptional care that's being done at the Prostate Cancer Centre, and build on all of that to ensure that we have a smooth, well-organized program that looks after the entire man, body, mind, and spirit. We're going to spend a lot of our efforts on ensuring that men's mental health is taken care of. As Eric said, when a man gets diagnosed with a cancer, the stress is quite significant, and the life-changing mental illness or mental struggles that can happen are significant. But that can happen before a man actually gets diagnosed as well, and we need to recognize and treat all sorts of mental health issues, and that's going to be one of our goals. Grief support, not only grief for death and dying, but grief of change of life circumstances. I think all of us this year have recognized all the different levels of grief that can come into life-changing circumstances, and that's something that we really need to spend our time working on, caring for patients, and even performing a bit of research into how that affects patients as we move forward. Prehabilitation is one of our major goals, and this is something that's currently lacking. When a patient gets diagnosed and is going to need significant treatment, surgery or significant treatment for a cancer or some sort of urological disease, they need to be well prepared. If you go into a surgery without preparing yourself, it's like going into a marathon without training for it. And currently we don't really spend a lot of time ensuring that our patients are optimized for treatments. And so that's one of our goals, and Eric's going to talk to you about that, one of the programs that we have going on.
So we've talked a little bit about prehabilitation and what that means, and I want to show you some numbers here that I hope illustrates what prehabilitation can do for patients and for our healthcare system. So this table looks at before and after prehabilitation for patients who have undergone bladder cancer surgery. So this is a surgery, and we're looking at, in the top column there, or the top row, the length of stay in the hospital. So before these programs were set up, the average length of stay for a patient who underwent bladder cancer surgery was 15. Once we introduced a pathway and then the prehabilitation, the exercise program trying to improve their health before surgery, you can see that the mean length of stay reduced to 6 and then subsequently 7 days after the surgery. This is almost a 50% reduction in the length of stay for a surgery at the Rocky View. I want to direct your attention now to blood transfusion. So this is primarily from the surgery. Sometimes patients need a blood transfusion if there's blood loss during the surgery. Before the pathway is implemented, there's a 22% rate of blood transfusions. And then this decreased to 14% and then 4% after prehabilitation. This is a massive, again, reduction in blood transfusion. So these are the programs that we're talking about that we've integrated with bladder cancer, and we're hoping to take this concept and also take it to patients with prostate cancer and other urological diseases. How are we going to do this? We're going to also look at building a kinesiology center within the Prostate Cancer Centre. So what we found is patients often don't know how to exercise before surgery. They think they know, but they don't know how to improve their aerobic fitness and their health. So by setting up a kinesiology center, hopefully we can teach them how to exercise, show them how to exercise at the center, and then they can go home and carry this on for many weeks before their surgery. So we hope to develop a center with some exercise. We can teach them how to use the equipment, how to improve their exercise and improve their aerobic fitness, both with equipment there that we have set up in the Prostate Cancer Centre, and then as well as by trainers who are going to teach them again how to exercise. So it turns out immediately adjacent to the prostate cancer and the Southern Alberta Institute of Urology, we have 9,000 square feet of open space. This is where we want to put the Men's Health and Wellness Center. Cody Clayton is the CEO of Remington. He's also a board member of the Prostate Cancer Centre, and he's going to tell us how we're going to do this.
Thank you, Eric. As you can see, this is the 9,000 square feet that's directly adjacent to the existing Prostate Cancer Centre, which we hope to build out to facilitate this new Men's Health and Wellness Centre of Excellence. How do we execute on that? We plan on making this lease coterminous with the existing Prostate Cancer Centre lease, which runs until June 30th, 2030, with 2 additional options to extend by 10 years. Rent is estimated to be $200,000 per annum, and a cost of construction is estimated to be $1.125 million. Next steps. How do we move forward? We've been in discussions with Alberta Health Services on the space, and they are currently taking it through their channels of approval. We expect to have feedback from them in early 2021. Our startup development costs of a first year of rent and the $1.125 million in construction costs have been graciously donated by early donors Shelley Spaner, Clayton and Linda Woitis, and the Agate Foundation and John DeSanti, each donating $500,000. Who are our donors? Dr. Shelley Spaner is a radiologist with Mayfair Diagnostics and also a fellow board member on the Prostate Cancer Centre. She's the founder of Women for Men's Health, which has raised over $600,000 in the past 3 years. Clayton and Linda Woitis Family Trust. Clayton is a well-known oilman from the city of Calgary. He and his wife Linda have been very active in philanthropy throughout the city of Calgary, including the University of Calgary, and supporting artificial intelligence and opioid awareness through the Agate Foundation with John DeSanti. John DeSanti Family Trust and Agate Labs Foundation. John has been a great supporter of the Prostate Cancer Centre on many initiatives, as well as the many initiatives that the Agate Foundation has been supporting throughout the years. Our final steps. In early 2021, we plan to negotiate an acceptable long-term lease with Alberta Health Services on this 9,000 square feet. We will also form a development committee who will be responsible for the fundraising for the additional $3 million required for the life cycle of this project. We will also evaluate development construction costs, review staffing requirements, and begin our search immediately. We plan to develop goals and interview candidates for psychology, kinesiology, and training support.
Thank you, Cody, for showing us the potential for this space build out and where we have the potential to go in the future. Thank you, Eric, for showing us the past and for showing us some of the potential progress with these prehabilitation and rehabilitation programs that are in the works already and that we hope to expand on. We have to thank the donors that we have already, John DeSanti and Linda and Clayton Wojtis. Their philanthropy is incredible and has given us the hope that we're going to be able to make this happen. It's so important, as we've shown you over the past few minutes, and again, we appreciate you listening carefully to what we've said. We hope we've inspired you. We do need about $3 million to make this happen. We think it will be an incredible center for the men in Calgary and Southern Alberta, and we would love to have your help and your support with this. If we have questions that you would like answered, we're happy to answer them at any time. Thank you for your support.